So welcome everybody. We got a good chunk of people in here. We're gonna obviously get some more live trading session. It is June 9th, 2020. This week, we're gonna get started. This week is obviously after a lot of pushes in the market right now, a lot of movement to the downside. We're coming to a lot of key levels of support or resistance. USD potentially ready to make its move back up north. So we have a lot to go over. As always, Nick's going to start with DXY, the dollar index, and go over why we look at it, what it means, and, do some technicals on it.
All right, so I know I say this every time, guys. Every single live session, every Sunday, I go over DXY. I go over that it's the U.S. dollar index. It shows the strength of the U.S. dollar or weakness in some scenarios. But essentially, it makes up the U.S. dollar. We look at this index because it makes up 80% of all trade. It is considered the reserve currency of the world, and it directly affects a lot of the market and most of the pairs that we trade. So it's always good to kind of jump onto DXY, the chart itself, and kind of see what's going on. Has anything changed? Has momentum remain the same? Are we still within, a trend, sentiment, and so on? So we're just going to perform regular analysis. So if we just zoom out to the monthly here, we can see that this is primarily bullish, right? Very, very bullish trend. Even as we work our way down, it still is very bullish until this daily time frame, really. And then we see this huge bearish channel, which again was all from last week. More or less just the market pricing in. We're getting some, negative news. It's kind of hitting the market finally, and then the market is just, again, pricing in these effects. So it did result in a pretty steep, fall off. We have this bearish leg that formed, and we're breaking out of this key range that we had been consolidating in for so long. Right after Corona news hit, so we were consolidating between 101 and 98.5 for a while, forming good structure in other pairs because again, you want to see stability within the dollar, and that is definitely beneficial for other pairs. It gives them a chance to form structure, move on their own, not be so heavily affected by the U.S. dollar itself. But, again, we did see this break. And we are still bullish until we get below this monthly. But we want to see if this is going to continue or if it's going to reverse. So let's go ahead and drop to the 4-hour for a second. Ideally, we want to see a reverse because it is so overextended. We want to see at least some structure levels form, maybe back into this range. Price action breaks back into this range would be really nice to see. But in order to see that happen, the momentum is still pretty heavy, but a good sign is we're getting consolidation now. So on Sunday, this analysis was put out that momentum could push it all the way down to the monthly before we see a reversal. But we do see some consolidation happening in here. So we're getting a little bit of a box pattern right in here. So we either want to see a break lower or a break higher, preferably a break higher, so we can get started on this reversal that we're so ready for. We're kind of anticipating this to just pull back. Excuse me 1 second, Angela. You want to just talk about this for a second? I'm going to find a tissue.
Yeah, as Nick battles the allergies of the East, like you said, he's looking at this rectangle right here on DXY. His monthly level, we haven't reached the monthly level yet, his main key level, which is why we're sort of looking for this continuation. Every single analysis is kind of just based around these key levels. Looks like you got a little trend line going on there. We're looking to pop above there before long. So every time we talk about, taking trades, we're just focusing on the key levels here.
Right. So, from here, this consolidation is a good sign. So we're literally just waiting for a break of this little consolidation here. And then we're going to start getting some, transitions on a lower time frame to the bullish side. So we're going to look to get up to this key level here around the 61.8, which is a key influence area around 98.5. That would be ideal. But until we see some strong bullish setups, we're still very much bearish, at least in this area. So that's DXY, guys. Again, this is a 4-hour chart. Very bearish for the short term. So we'll see. We will see. Then Angelo, you want to get into some of your pairs you said?
Yeah, I'll go. I'm going to go over all of the major pairs for us.
These allergies here.
Pop in here. We'll pull up charts. Wherever.
I'm better at the office, man.
What's up?
Allergy. For some reason, my allergies are much more. They're easier. They're not as bad at the office. I don't know why.
So we're getting We're going to start off with this. So USAF, this is something we've been watching pretty closely for quite some time now. Yesterday,
Oh yeah.
or Sunday on the live session in the laptop, so we don't die on you. 3%. Oh, we're about to die out. All right, cool. So this was a huge trade, USAF. Starting all the way up on the weekly time frame, we had been bearish. If y'all have been coming to the live sessions, we had been bearish for quite some time. We were looking at this pullback. Most recently, we were looking at this bearish engulfing here, this like evening star, this variation here. So a lot of bearish confirmation. Very clear. Down to the daily time frame, we have our fibs high to low. We have our supply zone that was respected fairly well. And then this is where, price action most recently had been. We broke below. We were looking for the retest, as we had drawn out, retested, fell below. Let's look at the 4-hour. 4-hour had been downtrending for quite some time. Pretty much since this break right here, we had been in a downtrend. So we can mark this off. Made this low, made this lower high, retested the low, lower high, low, lower high. And then this is yesterday, or Sunday, where we were looking at pretty much made this low. We were retesting this. We had drawn this out on Sunday. This was our last level of resistance. This is our major level of structure right here. If that was broken, we were looking along. Obviously that was not the case. This short opportunity held up. Let's talk about entries, real quick. As I get down to this 30-minute time frame, let's actually start with the 1-hour. So on the 1-hour time frame, we had this level of structure again on the 1-hour. As we broke below this, just looking at 1-hour structure, this is what broke. Then we retraced. This was the high. Our last entry was this, and this is what we had, this right here. This is what we had given yesterday in the premium analysis, but unfortunately I had woken up literally 1 hour late. This is what I had put in there. I woke up, I think this is 8 a.m. I woke up at 9 a.m., so that was very unfortunate. But this was a nice entry for us, on this trade. We got the moving averages crossing, coming from these highs. We are falling below this minor level of support here, following with 4-hour structure. That was like a very, very nice level for us, because as these cross, we knew we could protect ourselves at our stops really above that level. Down to the 30-minute, if we were looking to get in a little earlier, I would have just shorted based on this break. This was a higher low that formed on the 30-minute. Broke structure here, formed this high, formed this higher low, tried to make a new high, failed, and then we broke right there. So that was another entry, for me, how I would have looked at things. Then yesterday, I wasn't too on this because I had felt like we weren't going to get much of an opportunity, but we had this little flag form right here. So we started to consolidate, not too much. And then we obviously fell below. If we were to enter there, we'd be up 1-to-1, able to move our stops to break even right now. So that was like another entry opportunity on this, just this flag, and then right here, this fall through. So that was something else. Now, when it comes to, today and the future for this pair, if you guys are in this trade, I'm looking to maintain this down into this monthly or this weekly level of support, all the way down there as I bump back up to the weekly. I'm looking for us to grab some buyers down at these levels, and then we'll see if we can pop back up, going with my sentiment of USD coming back in the coming weeks. I do see us reaching this lower level. So obviously there's going to be really no play on USD CHF now for a couple of days. Just really made its move. So we're going to wait this out. And see when the next opportunity does come for that. But I am looking for it to come down into this like 9,500 area and then pop back up. So that's what we'll wait for. I can clear this up. Always want to clear charts up a little bit. I'll leave that one on. So we'll wait on USD CHF. Let's go over to USD CAD. I was getting a little aggressive yesterday with USD CAD, but I want to go over all the way on the weekly time frame, even all the way up to the monthly time frame. We fell from these highs, and we are now in more of a buying zone. We're above this trend line. We're down to the weekly. We are at a level of support right now. This was resistance, now turned support. We got this trend line coming in. So I do expect some sort of consolidation around this level, all the way down to the daily. The daily time frame is very bearish, but I'm just using this weekly now. I'm bumping up, to the weekly, and I'm saying weekly structure for me is bullish. Why? Made this high. This is our lower. This is our first high or low right now. We're looking to find support here. At this point, when would I consider trades? Until we get some more action going on now, there really is no, in my opinion, according to what I'm looking for, there are no opportunities. I'm not going to go below the 1 hour. I'm going to wait for some sort of daily confirmation. We need today's daily candle to close bullish for me, and then we need to follow that up with some more breaks of structure. We're still very below the moving averages, still very much bearish in that sense. So we're just going to wait. We're going to wait on UCAD. No entries on this. The most previous entry that came on this was, we had a rectangle pattern all the way up back here. We had went over this rectangle pattern where we broke below based on this 4 hour closure. And if we were to go back, to that area and take a look at what was going on, basically, where would I have entered on this is we had a little fake out here where we broke our trend line, or broke our, lower support level. And then we actually broke our high. So at that point, it's like, okay, what do we do? Then this happened. This very clearly, printed out some entries for us, broke this level, boom, a little bit of a retrace. This is where I'm looking to enter. Always, not on this first pullback. I'm looking to get through the moving averages because that makes, for me, a significant lower high. So then we got that, breaks back through the moving average right there. This would have been a nice little 50 pip. This thing ran really well. So that was UCAD, one potential entry, and then another potential entry on this came down here. We started to get this descending triangle, which is what I was kind of looking for yesterday as well. So we started to get, again, this descending triangle really right here. So let's see if I can make this look a little better. No. So we started to get, obviously, these lows were tested multiple times. Then we had a break, retest, another retest. Entry could have been right here, protect ourselves up here. That would have ran into profit a little bit, enough for us to go to 1-to-1. I had been looking a little bit more closely, like down to the 30-minute yesterday, and I was actually looking at this descending triangle right here, which was not as significant. Well, it didn't form on the 1 hour, but I had seen break, retest, started to short here, but obviously came into a nice support level here. This thing did not run, as far as it previously had, which is fine. So yeah, we're gonna wait on UCAD. I am looking for this to potentially come back, and go bullish. So we're gonna need a lot more for that to happen. GU, going along the same kind of theme here, weekly time frame. This is where I'm looking at structure right now on the weekly. So weekly has pulled back into potential lower high area, in the sense that we're getting something similar to this, pulling back right here. Boom, pulling back. We're looking for, this very well could happen. We could consolidate and then shift a little bit higher, which is why I have this drawn. We could shift higher into these highs right there before we finally find resistance, or we could fall off, from this level right now. So I'm going to stick to the daily time frame. We really got to see a lot right now on the daily time frame. We have to see some sort of like clear break of structure on the daily for this to short. Like I'm going to need, at this point now, I'm going to need, like, this is looking way more bullish than bearish at the moment. I'm going to need price to break back below this monthly level and retest to show me, to get me confident to take some short opportunities. So, I do expect some consolidation now. We're going to have to wait on this again. And depending how long that takes, what happens, these are pretty much the two scenarios on that, before we get short. Let's go over to NU. So again, guys, a lot of these pairs made pushes, made big moves recently, shifting trends on the daily time frame. All we do is bump up. All we do is bump up to a time frame where we can start to see things, more clearly. For NU, NU had been bearish on the daily time frame. We've been taking all these short opportunities here, and we broke. We just broke bullish. So what do I do once we break structure? Is I bump up, get a clearer picture. Where are we at on this weekly time frame? We're very clearly bearish in the sense that trend line, making lower lows, lower high, lower low, lower high. So I'm looking to make some sort of move here, some bearish move out of this zone. As I come down to the daily, I need this daily candle to close bearish for me just to confirm, that first like candle like variation for us. And then we're going to need some more price action confirmation to get short on this. So I'm looking to short NU. And then let's go over to UJ. UJ, we went over this, Sunday. It's playing out pretty well right now. His weekly time frame, this thing hit a weekly level of support right here, started to pop up, but this is the monthly. As we went down to the weekly, we are still bearish. We're still bearish on the weekly, guys. We're still bearish. Made this low, made this lower high. We were just popping up into a potential zone that has a lot of sellers, as we can see on this daily. We had said this, we are not breaking structure until this level breaks. What happened? We tested it, huge bearish engulfing right there. Huge bearish engulfing. So this tells me that in the sense we are still in this downtrend, we are still respecting these fibs. We still potentially could make a move lower right now. By lower, I mean all the way down, all the way breaking this level all the way lower. So with this just forming, let's do a quick little example right now where we just do a breakdown. For you guys trying to understand time frame correlation a little bit better, one little trick you could do is just highlight on a higher time frame. It's like an exercise you can run through. On a higher time frame, just highlight any sort of bearish variation, bearish engulfing, evening star, whatever, and then bump down, to a lower time frame. And what you should be thinking is, where can I see a break of structure? Because that bearish engulfing on the daily time frame is most likely some sort of shift of structure on this lower time frame. In this case, let's just start left and look at 1 hour structure. 1 hour structure, we had these higher lows right here, 1, 2, made this new high, minor pullback, made this higher low. Right here, made a new high, made this higher low, made a new high. This was the break. So then what I'll do is I'll measure this, boom, that was the break. What is the next thing that we're looking for? You guys will get a freebie in this sense. Next thing we're looking to enter on lower highs. We're looking to enter on lower highs the same way in this uptrend we're looking to enter on higher lows. We're looking to enter here, looking to enter here, on these variations. Here, we're looking to enter here, we're looking to enter here, because then we can put our stops below here. These are significant levels of structure that form. If they break, this trend is not valid. So that's where we want to put our stops. Those are comfortable entries for us. So right now, we're looking for that first lower high. We go over these examples inside the course, higher high, higher low, higher high, break of higher low, first lower high, before we make our new low. So right now we're waiting for a pullback, waiting for that first lower high. This analysis, I'm going to drop in the premium analysis for the members. We're going to put that in there. And then last but not least, so I'm going to put this up, put that on my watch list. I'm going to look at GJ. So I'm going to bump up to the monthly time frame. monthly time frame on GJ, let's take a look. So we are definitely at a key level right now, weekly key level. Monthly time frame is bearish in the sense that we broke this level, made this low, made this lower high. Now we're consolidating right now. We need to see this a little bit more clearly down to the weekly. So the weekly time frame, downtrend, lower low, lower high, retested here, double bottom, found a lot of support there, pulling back. So we need to get to a more, in my opinion, more of a confluence area to short. As we go down to the daily time frame, this has broken bullish. This has broken bullish at the moment. I'm gonna have to see a lot right now because this level for me, right here, we could, based on these, all this support levels and then this minor resistance, we could create a little minor zone. This is pretty much what it's rejecting right now. And why did I draw that? Because you can see price above here, retested multiple times, went to the upside. Price broke below here, retested, broke to the downside. So a lot of sellers or buyers are in this area. Could we move lower based on this area? Sure, I'm sure. I'm sure we could, but we'll see. As I go down to the 1 hour on this, for me, it is now at a significant level right now. Talking about 1 hour structure, we just talked on UJ. So this is a little bit different. Is on GJ, we have these two bearish candles, but this is not a bearish variation, a bearish engulfing, or an evening star. These are just two bearish candles in a row. We need that third candle, that, 3 white knights or whatever, that actual bearish confirmation for us. And why is that? Because if we go down to the 1 hour, those two bearish candles still has not broken structure for us yet. This needs to break. So on GJ, I'm not going to be doing anything until we break below this level, retest here, and then look to head lower. So that's what we're looking for on GJ. We'll wait this out. I'll move this up, and I will stick with this, on my higher time frame. Let's get off AJ. We'll stick with this on the higher time frame. Stick to the daily. We don't need to be on the 1 hour yet. We need to see how this next daily candle, if it pushes to the downside, then we'll be ready. So just to go over again, I went over Youssef. Making these new lows. We'll look to see when it finds support. UJ, looking to continue this bearish push right now. Continue daily structure. UCAD, waiting to see how this next daily candle plays out. GU, again, daily candle. NU, daily candle. And then GJ, looking to see next few hours how GJ plays out. So went over some entry, at different entries that I'm looking for and everything like that. Overall structure. A lot of nuggets in there for you guys, and also just be ready, for today on these pairs marked in orange. I'll drop UJ in the premium analysis for all the members, and, we'll continue to try to take advantage. There's going to be some big moves coming up. That's why it's important for patience to come into play right now, because of the fact that we're coming to our weekly key levels and everything like that. Like, people might still be buying up stuff, but inevitably we got to go with what is the overall trend, where, and by that I mean where are sellers either going to step in, more sellers, or where are more buyers going to step in. So yeah, we'll be ready. So Nick can go ahead and share up his screen now.
All right, real quick, Meme Lord, thanks for this one. That shit was hilarious.
Sure. Yeah, that was a good one.
All right, so quick recap on DXY. Guys, again, we're still waiting for some sort of confirmation. It is looking like this trend is slowing down. Again, we have consolidation, so the likelihood of reversal is, slowly becoming more likely as the consolidation increases, as this, slows down, the momentum slows down, and we start to see more, bullish candle step into the market. So let's go ahead and move on to AUD/USD. This is actually presenting a pretty interesting opportunity right now. Let's just go ahead to the daily for a second. We can see that this is clearly very, very bullish on this 4 hour. This is a 4 hour push I would consider. And then if we zoom out, this is more of the daily sentiment, very bearish, right? So we are still technically bearish. You know, this was a lower high here, confirmed lower high, and now we're simply testing that prior lower high now, right? Right at this key monthly area. So, you know, we could see a potential reversal from here, and I'm going to show you what we would need to see on the 4 hour to get there. So we see this huge bearish variation, right? We're breaking this, you know, lower time frame support level, this lower time frame structure. So it's blowing through it, right? Cross through the MAs too and everything. We want to see a lower high form in this area, right? And this would actually be considered technically a head and shoulders. Left shoulder, head. This would be the right shoulder. And then we get a break of the neckline. It's kind of slanted. And then again, the right shoulder would be that lower high, followed by strong bearish confirmations, would be enough to short down to a key level towards a deeper fib level, 61.8, which is also in confluence with this daily support level right here at 0.675. So this is a pretty big ass range. And again, like this would more or less just be a pullback on a higher time frame trend. You know, so you know we could see a very large move play out this week. You know, we just want to see these confirmations. We want to see this lower high, this right shoulder form, break the neckline, strong bearish setups, and then we're in. And then we're in. And it'd be a pretty good risk reward. Stop loss would be up here. Let's just mark it up for the sake of it. Right, let's say we get that right shoulder, we get strong rejection, a lot of wicks, then we get a bearish engulfing, let's say, right? Let's say we enter on that right shoulder. You know, we're looking to get 200 pips. Whoops, what is this? 200 pips to get, and then we'll protect ourselves outside the MAs into this zone. It's looking like a 2, well, we can even extend it up here. Even if you were to make it a 2.0, which is our minimum, you'd be at this high here. So 100 pips to get 200. But if you wanted to bring it down a little bit more, you could, roughly around 60 pips, which would be outside the right shoulder, again, outside the MAs, starting into this transition to the downside. So this could be a really good trade. This setup right here, 60 to get 200 would be a 3.3 risk reward. So that's AU, guys. We're just waiting for these setups. I'm actually going to drop this. I'm going to drop this very soon. I'm going to drop a 1 hour analysis in the premium analysis section soon. So let's keep going. We're going to move on to AJ. This one's looking very similar. Potential head and shoulder setup. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. It broke this minor level of support. Looking to test his resistance with the MAs. We could see that happen, especially after seeing major rejection from this monthly zone. So let's see if this makes sense on the daily as well. And it does. It looks very, very similar to AU, right? These lower highs over here, simply testing that same high, right? So right at this monthly area. And it has potential to fall because this is pretty overextended. So we went ahead and fibbed from the low to the high. 61.8 is right in line with the 200 EMA. 38.2 is right at the 73.6 area. So let's go ahead and zoom in. Drop time frames. This could definitely pull back. First target would be the 38.2. If it blows through that, 61.8, right? And we could see it maybe consolidate in this area. Then we'll get a better idea. We'll reanalyze once it gets to one of these zones. We'll reanalyze and figure out if it's going to continue to fall or if it's going to continue with this, you know, overall 4 hour bullish trend. So we'll see. This is also looking pretty good. Again, pretty key neckline right here. It would look like this. Very similar to what we just saw in AU. We're going to enter like this. Let's target down towards 61.8, 365 pips. Protect ourselves outside the monthly. I'm going to call it 150. It's looking like a 2.4 risk reward. So 150 pip stop loss to get 360 roughly after this head and shoulders breaks. So quick rule of thumb, guys. Once the neckline breaks out of head and shoulders, you want to target the height of the pattern from the head to the neckline. So about 200 pips minimum. So that already puts us down here around 72.5, 72.6 area, which is our 50%. So, you know, we could definitely see a big move play out here. Again, this is going to be pretty big, 2.4 risk reward. So again, nice reversal, just waiting on these confirmations currently. That's AJ. Next, we got EU. So this one is a little trickier to analyze, and I'll explain in a second why. So if we go to the daily time frame, we can see that it's primarily bearish, right? Very, very, very bearish. And then it finally just broke here on this 4 hour trend. So if we go to the 4 hour, we can see that this is clearly bullish. pretty strong, pretty steep, lots of bullish volume. Not much of no pullbacks really. This actually was the largest pullback, the largest bearish candle we saw in this entire push happen, very recently. So if we take a look, this is like an expanding pattern. It did pull back again. It didn't form structure. It just rejected off the 23.6. So it could pull back to the 38.2. Could reject from this level once more. Pull back, hit this 38.2 around 1.1175 before continuing or dropping lower. Nothing's really looking that great on EU right now. It is so dependent on what happens with USD. If USD pushes up, we'll for sure see this drop pretty rapidly, probably, especially down to this weekly even. But for right now, we need to see a lot. This was a bit of a fake out. If we did mark this level here, I want to go ahead and put this box pattern in, just so it's easier to see. I'm going to get rid of this expanding pattern. I'm going to zoom in on this little box pattern. So there was a key level right there, and then again right here. So this was a fake out, right? Consolidation, fake out. It didn't break anything really. It just came right back. And now we're still technically in this pattern. We're testing the top, we're testing the high of this little box again, but again, it still needs to show us a lot. Either this is going to continue to surge higher, in which case we'll look for reversals at our monthly once we get to this more significant level. Then we'll start looking for reversals from there. So it'd be something like this. If it pushes higher, we want to see reversals up here then. And that's fine. We can wait on it. We'll be patient. It's not really a problem. We'll just see how this plays out. But if it falls out here, we're simply looking to get down towards 38.2, potentially 61.8. So what this would look like if you were to get a short opportunity off of this, you would need to see a significant break. For a high probability trade, we want to see a break and retest, right? So it'd be something like this. Let's just say it's going to the 61.8 if it's significant enough. So significant close below this pattern. Test the MAs again. Give us a lower high on this 4-hour time frame. And then we're looking for strong bearish setups again to enter on and then target lower. So let's see. It was something like this. Okay. It'd be like 200 pips roughly. I'm risking 100. So 2 to 1. Again, you need to see confirmation. And right now you can just see the momentum stepping in. It came back down to 23.6, and then the bulls are just stepping in. So this is still a very strong trend. And we're just reading price action. Look at this. Look at all the volume just coming in. You can literally watch this candle grow. It's just pushing up. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of bullish momentum still in this pair coming out of Euro. So we'll see. We're just going to wait on this one. Again, plus some of these others are closer to entry. AU, AJ, they're much closer to entry. So we're just going to wait on EU for now. Let's go ahead and check out EJ. EJ is a similar story, but it did pull back a little bit more than EU. So let's go ahead and zoom out, get an overall sentiment. So we know this daily channel here, very, very bearish, right? Super bearish. Then we finally saw a break to the upside on this 4-hour trend. So 4-hour bullish trend. It is technically forming structure now. It hit the 38.2, and we saw a little engulfing come off this area. But we're not going to take an entry until we see an MA cross. I want to see a little bit more, confirmation in this area. Maybe some more consolidation right at this little structure level, and then another bullish engulfing through the MAs. I would then enter on that potentially, target higher. But we do have the potential for a deeper pullback. So if we see price action fail to push higher off these MAs, or fail to push through these MAs, we could see it hit the 61.8 over here. In which case we would just get in a lower high. We would see that fall back down to the 61.8. This looks like a pretty extended head and shoulders. I wouldn't consider it a head and shoulders necessarily, because this would be a left shoulder, right? Let's say this is the head, then the right shoulder would be forming now. It is kind of skewed. I would like these shoulders to be a little bit higher, a little more volume on the shoulders, but this is still looking like it could be a reversal pattern. So we'll see how it reacts on these MAs in this current area. Let's just see. But yeah, these Euro pairs are a little further away from entry. So look at this rejection on the daily here. There's so much momentum still backing Euro. Look at this. All this rejection, all this exhaustion coming off the 38.2, off the MAs here. So this is definitely looking more bullish than anything else. We need to see a lot before we start considering shorts. But let me just mark up the potential for a long position here. Get rid of this for a second. So let's say we just came off the 38.2, which we did. Let's say we get closure above this little resistance here. It comes back, finds support at the structure, gives us a higher low on this time frame. Cross of the MAs, right? That's what we want to see. Plenty of confirmation in that. And then you could look to go long. You know, you could target all the way up towards, let's see. You could target potentially all the way up to this negative 27, which would be a pretty big confluence area with this monthly resistance there as well. So let's see what this would look like if we're going long here. Let's say we get that pullback, get that higher low. We get the bullish confirmations we want to see. We're looking to get 400 pips to the monthly. And this would be about, let's call it, I'm going to call it 115 pip stop loss, 3.38 risk to reward roughly. Probably 3.4 if this is squared up. So this is looking pretty good for a long opportunity. We're just waiting to see a few more confirmations. But yeah, definitely looking long more than anything else, guys. If you just look at the price action itself, we just zoom out. This is such a powerful trend on this 4 hour. Such a powerful trend. So the likelihood of this continuing is pretty high for now, at least, until we get something that will really change our sentiment fundamental wise, or just something on the charts that gives us a big transition, breaking through these, you know, this weekly zone here, you know, get a higher low over lower high in this area potentially, and then it falls off. We need to see a lot essentially. So let's go ahead and move over to gold. This one's looking pretty good so far. Pretty damn close to entry. Let's just zoom out and get sentiment for a second. Daily time frame, super bullish, right? This monthly level right here is that key area. Was resistance for so long, finally broke, turned into support. Then we just saw massive rejection, multiple times. Let's drop to the 4 hour, see where we're at. So, oops, let's do this for a second. All right, so we saw price action, you know, fall off, came down to this monthly again. You know, we had some higher lows over here. You know, we had this higher low. We had a test of the higher low again, tested a higher low again, and then it finally broke. And now just tested this monthly, which is just the low of this entire, you know, pattern here, this entire area of consolidation. The monthly was just a low. We tested it. We saw huge exhaustion, huge rejection. And then we saw a transition start to take place, right? Price action pushed up to 1695, kind of hesitated, finally broke through on this engulfing, consolidated again between 1700 and 1695. And then, you know, lots of indecision. It's kind of in a dangerous, it was in a dangerous area here because the MAs are there. It's between the MAs, the 200 EMA is right there as well. Psychological level, 1700 area, and also key structure at 1695. So this was, you know, we were kind of waiting to see how this was going to play out. Was it going to reverse sharply and start to head down, or was it going to push up? And we saw it push up. So we saw buyers step into the market, more exhaustion happened, and pushed price action a little bit higher into this new range between 1720 and 1695 confirmed. So now all we want to see is a little bit of a pullback, followed by more bullish setups, and then we're in. And then we're long as hell. So this trade path right here, right? We want to see a little bit of a pullback, confirmed higher low, strong bullish setups, nice bullish engulfing, morning star, more exhaustion, and then we're in. And then we could target all the way up to 1800. That's what we're looking to target. We've been calling that area for quite a while. You know, I want to see something like this. Something like this. And that's a 5-0. You can even move this all the way down here. We're looking at a 2-5. You know, drop that risk, drop that lot size, 2.5 risk rewards, plenty. So this is what we could, you know, be looking at. We're well protected outside this monthly. If price action does get down to this area and closes, it's looking like it would be a strong transition to the downside. But for now, you know, we're still very much bullish. So this is a good trade setup if we do see this little pullback and then confirmations present themselves. So that's gold. Looking good, looking good. All right, quick recap. We covered DXY, which is just took a huge dump. Look at this. It just fell off.
DXY.
Yeah, we still have an hour on the 4 hour closure though.
Oh,
So
wow.
it could reject like we just saw here. Could reject. But yeah, we'll see. So that's DXY. That's AU. We covered AJ, EU, EJ, and finally gold. All right, guys. So that's what we covered for now. Again, we're going to be posting all these in the premium analysis, right? So we'll be posting a lot of these in here this week, especially today. And Angela, you want to just recap what you had covered? Oh, wait,
Yeah,
where was
quick little recap for you guys. I'll share up. Boom. Let's go back on to here. So let's take a little look at US 30. Let's go over. So recap, I went over USEF, UJ, UCAD, GU, NU. Again, all for, you guys can come into this analysis section, pop over. These are all the pairs that I go over. These are all the pairs that Nick goes over. And then we got some more pairs for you guys, some extras. So, pop in here, take a look at these analysis, see how they're playing out. All you got to do is click on the link, play it forward. These are, for the most part, higher time frame analysis. Read little description here. So yeah, that's for you guys. For everyone that's in the Discord, there's a new memes channel. Be sure to post a little meme in here. We're gonna do a giveaway, in here at the end of the week. And other than that, no real promotions going on right now or anything when it comes to membership. If you guys are interested in getting more involved in the signals, in the course and actually the community, just feel free to shoot me a message. We could talk more today. And, obviously we appreciate your support. We're going to be back online tomorrow at 9 a.m. EST, same time, live training session. And we hope to see you guys there.
All right, thanks, guys. Enjoy your Tuesday.
Yeah, this is recorded as always, and I'll post the recording in a little bit. So yeah, hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Talk to you guys tomorrow.
Get it.
Peace.